Pasco lunch.
It's Kathy Julian. Yep.
You all have read the, are you gonna set that up and?
I was trying, but it's not working out very well.
Yeah, well, we've got a professional,
I know, but I feel like I still have to record it.
well, if you can put it back in the corner then, do you know?
I don't know that you're allowed to ask me to do that.
What? What's that?
I said I don't know that, I'm not sure of the law on that.
Oh, you have an attorney?
Do I have an attorney? I do, but I don't feel like calling him right now.
Oh, okay, well,
But-
anyway, if you set that up, if you set up behind the people. 'cause
What's
last
the matter
time-
there?
Well, you put it right in people's
Where do you
face
want it?
last time, and we have a professional.
Okay, and it's
Video
very
service
recent.
that goes
It's
on.
very recent, and he
That's
does a
good.
great job. His videos are very good.
Well, good, I don't see the reason to have an additional
Well,
one.
you know what? I want to have it for my own personal
Well,
reference.
you're not gonna put it up here, let me put
Okay.
that,
I
okay?
didn't
Put it back there.
put it.
You put it right in their face last time.
Ooh.
Yeah. You were
I'm
right.
not gonna argue with you.
Well, that's good, because that's what I'm reading here, that you agreed to. Speakers are allocated 3 minutes. All speakers identify themselves, names, address for the record. Remarks should be directed to the board, the whole, not to the individual members. Courtesy and respect to all, rude or disruptive behavior. Statements questioning integrity, motives, or characters are prohibited. First one up today is we got John Cobb.
Oh, I'm sorry.
John Cobb, 1335 Solitaire Place, Albany.
Okay, speak up a little bit, John.
Okay. I would like to know with all these requests, when I was working here, I remember just hearing people talking in the background about all the requests for information and everything. Is that still going on, and is there like an amount? Can you guys total up how many requests have been made in all this time by Pasco launch? I think that's where the bulk of it's coming from. But, I don't know if there's like a certain amount that there's allowed, or can they be charged for all of these requests? Cause, I mean, it takes some time to look for all of this stuff, I'm sure there's more than one person doing it. That's what my thoughts are on this. I still would like to talk about the campus, but then I guess that's a done deal. You know, that will always be a sore spot with me. I think it was great that Adrian had the foresight to think of that, you know. I really do. I mean, and I said it last time, when this place was made, only the west side of the county was being done. You know, you gotta change with the times. But, well, let me talk about my trip going to Ohio, since I have almost 2 minutes. It was a lot of fun working here. You know, I really enjoyed it, the people and everything. You know, Adrian, I'm sorry that she's gotta go through all of this stuff. I don't know what the ultimate purpose is of this. And you guys too, you know, it's gotta weigh on you too. No, I just want this place to stay here and everybody, you know, still have a job. You know, I don't know what any decisions are gonna be made, I don't know, who will be let go, whatever, I don't know. In a way, I don't wanna know, you know, because I just don't think it's right. But, and there's a lot I don't know, I'm sure, about everything, you know, but, that's what my biggest thing is. I'd like to know how many requests have been made. And can they be charged for this stuff? It's gotta take people's time. I remember when Michelle, when she was working here, you know, she was saying, Jesus, you know, all these requests, I've gotta keep doing them. Now, that's one person, but I'm sure there's other people that are doing it too. You know, that should cost money, and if it's just a form of harassment, asking for it over and over in different things, then no, then there should be a certain amount of times you should be allowed to ask for it. You know, that's why I'd like to know what the total is, so if you guys can do that, I would love to see that.
I'll address that, John. We're a public agency. Anybody can request public records, and we will supply them to anybody and everybody. We do have a recent policy on that, so we'll be glad to share that with you.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'd like to know. So there is a limit to how many?
There is no limits, no. We're a public agency, public records are belong to the people. So, we provide them at request
And
to
there won't
anybody
be-
and everybody.
And there won't be any charge for any of that?
No, there is charges. We do have
Oh,
a
good.
policy on it. It's a
Good.
very minimum charge. We probably lose money on it, but that's the way it is in Florida.
Yeah. All right, okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. We have Ms. Duffy up next.
Hi, Janine Duffy, 5550 Front Drive, Holiday, Florida, 34690. So I'm hearing there's what, 7 million in reserves? I know there was more, I think, at one time, I remember seeing a 10 million, but, you're looking at 7 million in reserves. And so, I understand last meeting you were talking about if you are short on chemical money that you would be, going into the reserves, which is, fine. But, I'm just really looking at the bigger picture here. So many people are struggling, and including myself. And I would really like to see some of that money somehow come back to the taxpayers. I know you're gonna be selling the property, so you'll have some of that, and I'm not saying take the entire 7 million, I believe you should still have some reserves. When we're talking about risks with mosquitoes, and not just killing an animal, but you're talking about disease and preventing disease. When you compare like the deaths with mosquito-borne illnesses, and the deaths that we have with people that lack money for food, or even just the traffic that we have and all the deaths that we have in Pasco County, whether people are walking, whether they're driving their vehicles, we have lack of infrastructure, we have lack of police enforcement. I'd really rather see money spent on actually preventing deaths. I don't know exactly how many cases in Pasco there has been of some kind of mosquito-borne illness, and I won't pretend that I do. However, I hear a death every day on our roads, but I don't hear a death every day about a mosquito-borne illness. So it's just kind of more of a priority thing for me. It's kind of when, everything's getting tight and taxes are going up for me, and car insurance is going up, and now homeowners insurance on top of it, you have to cut the Netflix. You have to stop eating out. You have to make those cuts so that people can actually survive. So please consider alternative things. Salaries are also an issue. I think they're getting out of control. Clothing allotments. We don't need to be paying for y'all's clothes. Come on now. Just really tighten up on those things, please. It would matter so much to the regular person that's really struggling. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Kathy Joey.
I'm Kathy Julian, and my address is on record, 10232 Worthyland Way. I do want to say something about prior comments that were made. Florida is a state that has sunshine laws, which you guys are well aware of. Everything you do is public record. So the more information you put on your website, the less information that would be requested. Today I was going over the budget, and there's something on this budget that should be there that isn't. So anyway, in the current budget year, there was over $11 million budgeted in capital outlays, and only 7.8% has been used so far, leaving this line item at over $10 million. I understand that was because you planned on building the complex, and that did not happen. This $10 million has been broken down into 2 line items for the draft budget. $3 million for capital campus improvements, and $7 million for future capital outlays. I'm curious why the district would put such a huge number or a large sum of funds into future capital outlay. What is the purpose for the amount, which is it's like 30% of your total budget? I mean, I understand having reserves. I'm a conservative person. We all should have money in reserve. But $10 million or $7 million when you're only bringing in $12 or $13 million from the taxpayers seems rather excessive. I'm also curious why the board has not mentioned this $7 million, which is now, I see in the new budget, it's like 6 point something. But, why aren't we using part of that to further lower the millage rate? I think that would get you a lot of brownie points with people that have control over you. I'm not one of those people, I'm just a person that shows up for meetings. That money is not really money for you guys to put away as a slush fund or for future use or whatever. I mean, you should have some purpose for it. Pay off the helicopters, I don't know what you do with it. But it shouldn't be just sitting in the bank earning $500,000 in interest. I mean, that's better than when, before, I know Mr. Cox was the one that, started putting money into an interest-bearing account, and that was very wise, and, you know, that's great, that you guys are getting $500,000 from that. I'm also, well, I guess this maybe is for the next meeting, but, before the vote on the budget, you guys need to, do some disclosures on what the 6.998,931.87 of future capital outlays, what is that for? Why are you holding on to that? Is that just a slush fund, as I've heard mentioned in this meeting? The other thing is, on this tentative budget, every page besides this first one has current year's expenditures broken down. On this one, you only put the totals. It'd be very helpful for people that are looking at this if all of this information was included. And I hate to have to FOIA request that or sunshine request that, but I need a copy of it with this information on it. People are asking me for it, and I know you think I'm a lone wolf and I'm the only one, but lots of people message me every time there's a meeting.
Thank you for your input. All right, next on the agenda is new business strategic plan, section Director Rogers.
Thank you, Chairman. So you all have the full document, including your packet for review, the performance measures for the 2025-2026 strategic plan, the Pasco County Mosquito Control District. I will note that the majority of the plan remains consistent with what this year's plan is. It's the information about the district, the history, the background, the changes that were made to those sections are clarifying changes. None of that content has changed. And so really it's just focusing on the goals and performance measures that you have there. And so we have updated those to better reflect our current operational position and our priorities and our needs for moving into the next fiscal year and beyond. And so if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them, or any discussion on any of the performance items, performance goals, performance measures, we can certainly talk about that. Otherwise, it's just a matter of process to get them updated and published on the website.
How about you all?
No, I enjoyed reading it. I think you did a great job on it, and, you know, it's a far cry from where we were a couple of years ago. So, that was certainly a good suggestion by the OPIGA report, and glad that we took it to heart and got her done. And more importantly, that we're following it.
Yeah, it looked good overall. There was one piece of it, I think, I can't recall exactly, but I think getting the meeting packets to us within 2 or 3 days ahead of time. I think it's 1 day in there. So, might look at that. Is it 1 day?
I will have to pull it up, but I can.
Okay.
So again, this is
It's a goal,
our,
I understand.
it is a goal,
Yeah, yeah, okay,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
And
you've been meeting the
current
goal.
practices, we're exceeding that.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
we've been-
You are.
We're trying to get it out earlier every
Yeah,
month.
you don't have to look it up, so I just take a look at it afterwards and
You
see.
want a motion for approval?
I would love, yes, that would be great.
Okay,
I'll move for approval.
okay, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. Let's move on to surplus property sales agreement. Adrian, so you once again.
Yes, I will take the lead. Edwin, do anyone from brokerage?
So
firm
we're on with
Recon?
us. Looks like a new
Renee or
screen, doesn't it?
Julie?
Maps on.
No, he is not, okay. So we do have Mr. Mitchell on the web call as well, but just as a reminder, at our special district, questions on any of that, we can certainly talk about it. I'm also presenting to you today is an affidavit stating that the purchaser is in fact the same entity that submitted the letter of intent. If you've noticed those two names, you may have noticed that those are not the same. So this is something that district council requested and required that we have because that buyer name listed on the LOI is different from what they have in the sales agreement. And so the company has requested that they have to close under a special purpose entity for tax purposes. And so that is 41 Mosquito LLC. So you'll see that affidavit there in front of you. Lastly, before I turn it over to district council or Mr. Mitchell from our brokerage team, we also have a letter of authorization that the company has asked to act as our agent of record for various permitting authorities to help streamline the process, some of the items that they'll be doing during this next phase once we do execute the contract. And so we have a couple of edits that we're still working through with district council, and once we do have that, I'll be moving that forward. So it really just doesn't require your approval, just for your information, that will be forthcoming. And then we do have both Ms. Donaldson and Mr. Mitchell on the line. Do any of you have anything to add to what I just stated?
Laura, are you there?
Dewey's trying to talk.
Okay.
Can't hear you.
I think your speaker is off, Dewey.
Up here maybe. Oh, we can't hear Laura either. Oh, it's our speaker.
Yeah, I think it's on your end.
It is. We hear you
It's
now.
fixed.
It's working out.
Sorry about that.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can.
Okay, actually, I think Adrian explained it all very well. I don't have anything to add unless you have any questions for us.
I don't, no. What you got to add, Laura?
Yeah, no, I would just say, it was great working with their attorney. We had to work over the weekends, because obviously a purchase and sale agreement with a government is very different than just your standard purchase and sale agreement related to indemnification and other things. So they understood our timing, and we were able to resolve the issues. And, the purchase and sale agreement in front of you codifies what was in the letter of intent that the board approved 10 days ago.
Laura, could you just expand upon a little bit as far as what Adrian mentioned about a document that's coming next to allow I'm just going to refer to it as the developer to sign on behalf of the district for permitting and all of that?
Yeah, so we, as part of the due diligence period, the purchaser is going to be doing certain things that we knew related to the rezoning. We received an agent authorization for them related to permitting. It did not include the rezoning. And so I honestly, I was in meetings all day Friday, and I've been in meetings all day today in different cities. And so I just need to tighten that language up, but to make sure that the district is not bound. And if the deal falls apart, the district is not obligated to do anything.
All right, that was my ultimate question. Thank you.
Yeah, I just haven't had time to sit and think about how that looks, because generally, the property's just purchased clear without any obligations like that. But in this scenario, by allowing that to happen, the district is getting, close to several $1 million more. So I just have to think about how to write that down so that you're not obligated to do anything environmentally or with DOT in the future.
Okay.
Great. Well, thanks for your continued work on that. At this point, we just need a signature and then that
Motion for approval, I'm assuming.
motion for approval.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You got any comments? All right, I will move for approval.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. And before we let Dewey go, over the weekend, I got to see the tribute that your friends and family did to you. I think that was wonderful, and known you for some time, so truly it shows you live by the golden rule, and everybody else recognizes it, so keep it up. You certainly have done a lot for many in the community and your family, so that's good. We thank you. We appreciate what you do on a professional basis also.
Well, thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say, and it was very humbling, believe me.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, that's,
yeah.
I see.
It was a
that-
great day. My daughter flew in from Texas. I didn't know,
Oh.
and so she surprised me there. So that was the highlight of the evening for me. Believe me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Anyway,
it's-
thank you very much.
That's-
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, sure thing. That's good stuff. Okay.
If you had known Dewey's parents, you would know that he had no choice but to be a good boy.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I'll never forget. I'll tell a quick story.
Okay, great.
My mother stayed. She was on the Pasco County School Board for
Right.
20 years.
Yep.
And during one of the campaigns, you know, they were at a function where all the candidates had a chance to, you know, stand up and talk about themselves and, you know, why they should be elected. And it was dark afterward. And Commissioner Cox made sure he walked her out to make sure she got into the car safely. And she just thought you were such a gentleman to do that. And
Well, if I didn't do that, my mother would have kicked my butt, so there you go.
Well, yeah, I would have kicked my butt too, but she just thought you were kind. So anyway,
Thank you, Dewey.
but thank you.
And the little things make differences in life.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
for sure. Well, thanks for all your hard work on this so far. And, we've got some more time to work on this, but I'm sure we'll get through it successfully, all of us.
Yep.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Do
guys.
you have any comment? Anything? Okay. All righty. And Anthony will be signing this. Is he the LLC?
From 41 Mosquito LLC, yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, very good. All right, so anything else on that subject? Nothing? Okay, very good. Well, they both drop off?
Laura's up next.
Okay. She's still there?
I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm
very-
still here. I just
very
don't
good.
love seeing my face on your screen. So I turned the camera on when you guys asked me a
Okay.
question.
Okay, all right. Well, you are next up. Employee safety concerns and update from Laura, legal counsel. Go ahead, Laura.
Well, I know that, just real quickly, Adrian can give more details. The sheriff's office is still investigating the calls that were made to the district, the phone messages, as well as pursuing, you know, other questioning related to cyberbullying and other issues. So that's the basis of it, but we are still talking to both sheriff offices. And I think Adrian has a meeting with the Pasco County Sheriff Office next week, or this week.
Okay.
Thanks for the report.
All right. Thank you. Anything else on that? No?
Not a whole lot to add, so I appreciate you going through that, Ms. Amundsen, and the meeting is on the 30th of the month.
Okay. All right, next item is the budget draft discussion for 2025-26, starting October the 1st. I'd like to leave that up, please.
On September 4th, the board reached a consensus on the draft budget for the upcoming fiscal year for that was brought up at the last board meeting without seeking additional approval from the board, provided that I do so based on policy guidelines for each of those respective items, simply because the board has already granted that authority. So the claims presented at the last meeting are just another deliberate attempt to mischaracterize the process and discredit the work that you're doing here in this office. And it's important to understand that all of the actions taken are under the approved budget are fully within my authority and adhere to the proper protocols established by this board. So, thank you, and with that, if you have any questions on specific items, we can work through those items.
Yeah, I mean, I just make it just a general comment, you know, Commissioner Abbott and I were chatting before the meeting about how we think we're the only two people that may read the newspaper on Sundays.
Probably true.
But, you know, as I was, reading the paper on Sunday and looking at all the ads that were placed in there with,
I read those
seems
too.
like every taxing agency in the 3-county area, or 4-county area, advertising tax increases. There was one there that was not present in that, and that was us, because we're actually lowering taxes. So, I think that people ought to maybe pay a little closer attention to some of the ones that are placing ads and they're saying that they're increasing taxes, because some of them are very significant, very significant. And, looking at the reserve funds that many of the taxing authorities have, ours is a drop in the bucket compared to some of theirs. So it's, I'm just happy that the staff really worked hard and listened to what, you know, our concerns were, and we were able to actually bring in a budget that's a tax reduction. So I'm very appreciative of that.
What say you, Randy?
It's all good.
Okay. Good. We worked it out, hashed it out last meeting, so I don't have any further comment, and, our final hearing will be on September
29th at 5:01 p.m.
29th at 5:01 p.m.
Friday, right? Friday?
2 weeks from today.
2 weeks, oh, that's right, 2 weeks.
Okay. Very good. With that being said, let's move on to your director's report. Operations, Nick's here today too. Are you speaking for Nick? You're speaking? Okay, good. Good,
My
good.
turn.
Who wants to go first? You, Nick?
Sure, we didn't have any safety incidences or, training scheduled for last month. It's our busy time of year, so that's a normal. So another month, no safety incidents.
Speak up for the mic a little bit.
You want me to say it again?
No, no,
Okay.
I hope you're gonna say more.
That's it?
When he gives his report, less is more.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
That's
good.
true.
We don't want safety committee.
That's true. Safety committee, less is more. Very good.
All right, otherwise, in district operations, notification systems, I'll provide an update on the resident notification system for alerts about our ground and aerial mosquito control treatments that we put in place about a month and a half ago or so. Right now, thank you, everyone, hold up on the screen here, right now we have, just around 300 individuals that have signed up to receive these notifications, and continue to actively try to educate our residents that this service is available. Our goal is to, of course, as you all know, continue to increase transparency and build community trust by keeping the public informed of our operations. And so these dots on the map here show where those approximate 300 registered contacts reside within the county. So if you all would like to continue to spread the word on that, we would certainly appreciate that. We do have a lot of information on our website that's actually tied to these
thought or comment on spreading the word. If I look at the county seat, for instance, there's nothing much going on so far over there. I know we're early in on the process, but what if our public outreach contacted, the tax collector, the property appraiser, the sheriff's department, and see if they could help spread the word? And they first could start out with our own folks, and then, you know, to all the connections that they have out there. But I would think that might be an inexpensive way to get it started, get it going a little bit swifter.
So we are relying on community partners to help us spread the word. The constitutional offices in particular, like you mentioned, I would have to look to see if we've done targeted outreach to them, but I know we're working with the county. The county has pushed it out through their mechanism. We've also been on Nextdoor, you know, targeting all of the different neighborhoods in Pasco County. We are working on getting them distributed to individual HOAs. So there is a concerted effort that is trying to target some of those other stakeholders and utilizing those partnerships to get the information spread wider. But as specifically property appraiser, sheriff that you mentioned, I'm not sure, but we can certainly look into that if we haven't already.
Okay.
How about, like state reps and state senators?
Have we sent it directly to them?
Well, yeah, for them to disseminate, maybe Randy Maggard to help out.
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
certainly.
there'd be somebody. That'd be a good idea. Yeah, maybe even Bill Rex's office now that we're
Yeah.
brainstorming. Yeah.
You know, so if you reach out to the tax collector's office, you know, that all his offices, he has television screens up that do some advertising. He would probably put something up on there for that, you know, people, because he's got, you know, in the normal loop of advertisements and stuff that they do, you know.
Yeah, those offices certainly have
Lots of traffic.
connections.
Yeah, lots of traffic,
To
yeah.
all the people.
DMV.
Yeah. Shouldn't cost anything more other than a little manpower to get it done. But I'm sure Maria's already thinking of that.
We appreciate the suggestions and we will explore them further.
Okay. Anything else on your reports?
Any other questions on that item before I move on?
Okay, you are moving on, go ahead.
No, I you know, I'll just say
I thought you were
that
following Nick's role,
I
didn't
just
know.
will say I signed up for it and, the notifications are really good,
Good,
so, yeah.
glad to hear. Awesome. Okay, switching gears a little bit, continuing on district operations, dengue response. So at the last board meeting, you recall that back in early August, Agna touched on it during her report. The arbovirus report in the August meeting with the Pasco County Health Department alerted us to a suspected human case of locally acquired dengue. Well, actually, I'm sorry, now let me restate that. A locally acquired mosquito-borne disease. They did not definitively say which virus they were looking at. Some cross-reactivity, so they weren't sure. And so we initially, once we received our notification, as we do with all notifications of disease that we receive, our teams immediately responded with increased surveillance and control activities. Again, without waiting for confirmatory testing. As you know, we respond upon suspicion that there is a case. We don't have the ability to wait, because in this case is a prime example of why. It took over 3 weeks for them to get confirmatory testing and get us a definitive answer back. And so, you know, if we had waited for that time, that would have been 3 weeks with potentially infectious mosquitoes out there, and certainly we don't want to run that risk. And so that's why, as protocol, upon suspicion of any one of these mosquito-borne diseases, whether it be notification of a human case to the health department or an animal case through our sentinel chickens or another means, we're always responding to that initial suspicion as quickly as possible. And so that 3-week period, of course, is critical. We can't delay our response. Our field response, to put it into additional context, last year we responded to 71 suspected cases of mosquito-borne disease from the health department I had sounded an alarm 3 weeks prior to any sort of confirmatory testing, that would be irresponsible of me to do that, right? I just want the public to know that when we receive notification of a case, before it's confirmed, we are out there providing mitigation efforts. 71 cases last year suspected. And how many of those confirmed? 14, right? So that's the number, the volume of cases that we're getting, that we're responding to. And so it would be counterproductive as well as irresponsible to inform the public of every suspected case, because a lot of them do not confirm. I mean, that's a pretty significant percentage that do not confirm, and it turns out that they are completely unrelated to mosquito transmission at all. And so with that case, we did, as I mentioned, intensify our response, surveillance, and control lasts for, depending on the disease. We have a variety of different lengths of time, areas of coverage that we're looking at, but nonetheless, the general response is the same, and we do look out for a prescribed number of weeks if it's a sole case. Of course, in addition to that, community engagement is an important piece. So the health department, even though it did finally confirm just 2 weeks ago, the health department did not issue a press release. In the past, they were not as hesitant to do that. We've even worked with them in the past on joint press releases, but this year they're very sparingly issuing things like that. And so on our end, what we've done is try to intensify our community engagement efforts through our website, through social media. Every event that we've had since that time has been the message, personal protective message, how to prevent mosquito exposure, as well as dump and drain. And so I think this case is a prime example. We've talked about it in prior board meetings that we need to stop talking about dengue as being an exotic disease. It is endemic in Florida, which means that local transmission is occurring at a higher frequency. We're seeing it throughout the state. Last year, prime example of that, numerous counties with local transmission. This is not a travel-related issue anymore, although travel greatly intensifies the risk, of course. And so we have to remain vigilant. We have to continue to encourage residents to take the necessary precautions, protect themselves from mosquito bites, as well as doing their part to reduce the potential for this urbanized mosquito that's growing in their backyards to really gain foothold. So it really requires a joint effort from our various stakeholders in our community. And so we really need to be vigilant about responding and reinforcing that idea that this is a partnership, that our community really needs to be working with us to help reduce the risk for dengue, especially as it's becoming more endemic in the state, so more established. So this is my call to action.
Was that case confirmed?
It was,
It
yes,
was.
just 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
But we learned about it in early August.
Yeah,
That's
right.
when our response
Right.
happened.
And why is the health department hesitant to make announcements? Is it a policy change or?
It's a policy change. Communications at the state level is different than it was a couple of years ago, and so they're reluctant to put out press releases for these individual counties that are dealing with mosquito-borne disease issues. I mean, it's not just restricted to mosquito-borne disease issues, but of course that's where we intersect, and so that's why it's relevant. But so this did put us into the mosquito advisory status, and so I'll talk a little bit more about that when I do the August arbovirus report. But so we do have a local, not in the same area we saw it last year. So again, just further underscoring the fact that it's established. And so what that means is we know it's here, so don't pretend it's not. Right? We
Mm-hmm. The year before and the year before, do we have data on how many cases were reported?
For the state or for
The county?
Pasco County?
Pasco County Health Department, or overall, we control how many cases this year, do you happen to know, or
The number
not off the
of
top of your head?
dengue cases or the number of suspected?
Suspected cases,
cases.
yeah.
We had 71 for 2024.
Right.
I don't have the number that we've already responded to in 2025,
Okay.
but I can get that for you.
Interesting to see the trend.
So this year, I mean, we're already in September, and I don't even want to say it, but it's not tracking at nearly as bad as last year was in terms of overall suspected cases, both on the human and sentinel chicken front. Also, our trap counts are considerably lower. Our weather pattern has been very different from last year's summer.
Sure has.
You know, we are in September, and
Knock on wood.
we haven't had a major storm, and so that definitely intensifies things. And if you look at your board packet, we have the service requests and surveillance numbers from comparison from 2024, this time from till now, in September of 2024 to September up till September of 2025. And so you can see for yourself.
Oh, yeah,
Let's flip through it just to show the difference in the number of.
No, I do that every month.
So the first one I'll come to, skipping, this is not where I was gonna take you initially, but the arboviral activity for August. I mean, we have 3 human cases that we responded to and 3 chicken locations. This time last year, that was a very, very different map. When you look at the next one in your board packet, service requests provided by month. And this one, I can open the rest of it. Shows you 2025 comparison to 2023 and 2024. 23 was also much lower, I would say more normal as this year is. Last year was an outlier on a number of different metrics. Arboviral, major weather-related issues. So all of that contributes to, you know, what we're seeing here. If you look at the service requests, this is the next one. For August of 2024, we had a total of 829 service requests in the month of August in 2024. The month of August for 2025, we had 124. That's a 700% decrease
Yep.
from last year.
Yeah.
Roughly. And then the following chart, the next two show you trap counts. So August of 2024,
I think someone's breeding them in my neighborhood. Holy cow.
you need to talk to your neighbors. The trap counts for August of 2024, we had 778,000 total females, 13,000 total males. And for this year, we're at 162,000 total females and 4,000 total males. So again, about a 600-700% reduction in that total female count, which is huge.
Yep, keep up the good work.
And we've talked before about how we are increasing the treatment coverage. The use of various products that we've talked about, more residual products allow us to treat more acreage, different locations that we weren't treating before. Every year, in the last 5 years, we've been increasing the geographical locations that we are servicing. And so all of that, of course, the weather is huge. And so all of those things combined factor into why you see such fluctuation, which ties back to the budget. We can't plan what the weather's going to be. We can't plan how many major storms we're going to get every year. And so that contingency money, and we want to talk about why it's there, various reasons, and that's a big one. And so this year, the first time, maybe in, at least as far as anyone who's currently on the board can remember, we haven't had to dip into those contingencies, but last year we did because of the year we had. So there is a lot of variability in how our operation looks year to year. what it was anymore, I just kept going with it.
I just still trying to figure out how you counted 778,000 females, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
One at a time.
Wow, that's a lot of counting.
We have a very detail-oriented staff.
I guess so.
You do a great job. All right, switching gears again, there's FEMA pre-qualification training that we had, a couple of our staff participate in. It's to prepare agencies for future emergency events, and we did have, FROC is the Florida Recovery and Operational Compliance Training Program, and it's developed through the Florida Division of Emergency Management and designed to pre-qualify local governments for FEMA reimbursement, ensuring that staff are fully trained in the federal requirements for documenting and submitting documentation for recovery costs that are directly tied to disasters that are declared through the federal and state government. And so we did have a couple of our staff, Ms. O'Reilly and Mr. McCall, have been involved in that over the last month or so, and this will put the district in a stronger position to recover eligible costs quicker, hopefully, and more efficiently in, excuse me, in the wake of a natural disaster like a hurricane, without risk of delays or denials due to compliance issues or, unfamiliarity with the documentation. And so that was a very positive thing, part of our ongoing efforts to improve preparedness and strengthen our operational resilience and how we are managing public funds. Questions on that?
Any word on reimbursement for last year?
Knew you were gonna follow with that. No, we have not received any word on if or when that may come. So.
Have any of the local governments received reimbursement?
I don't have an answer to that.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but,
Yeah.
From what I understand, it can take years to see it.
yeah.
So, and then it depends on so many factors, which I learned a lot in that FL training about how that all comes down the pipe. So, definitely not this fiscal year, I would think.
Yeah, I think Hurricane Irma took us 3 years to recover on that one.
Years.
Yeah.
They said one of them just closed and it was from 2004. So, whatever that means in terms of did everybody get paid out in that time frame, maybe, if there's disbursements that happen along the way. But the more we do these trainings, we'll understand more. But what this does is prepares you, in advance, get all the forms and everything ready. They call it blue sky, basically. You get all this stuff prepped when the skies are good, and then when the storms hit, it's a very quick submittal.
Who put that on?
The Department of Emergency Management.
No.
Florida, they have a division, which is this FROC.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it used to be CERT.
CERT team.
They're starting to
Oh, yeah.
change. Yeah, they were
Okay.
talking about their logo changing to this and,
Okay.
yeah.
And that was the agricultural response team, is what CERT was. So it's through Florida Division of Emergency Management. Okay. Employee benefits, we finalized our selections for health insurance coverage for staff for the upcoming fiscal year based on the information you all approved, that was presented last month. We're holding our annual open enrollment meeting on Wednesday, this Wednesday afternoon. You all should have received the web invitation for that. We'll have our broker, health insurance broker on the line, as well as representatives from the carrier, so from United Healthcare and Task will be administrating the funds. So if you have not received that email, please let me know after the meeting, and we'll make sure to get that to you. Year-end performance report, as a reminder to the board, we have the new statutory mandate to have response to how the district performed in relation to the goals and performance measures for this fiscal year. That has to be posted on the district website for the start of December. So we will be wrapping up this fiscal year, finalizing the response for all of the performance measures that we have currently in place, the 24-25 year. We will be drafting our year-end report and, have a little bit more information for you all as we close out 24-25 fiscal year and start working on that. Number of records requests, I heard the request earlier during public comment. I do want to share that it's actually a new element that we're going to be supplementing your board packets with moving forward. So for the month of August, we did receive a total of 10 public records requests, and 8 of which came from the same individual requester. Employee handbook, we're currently in the process of modernizing and streamlining our PCMCD employee handbook to ensure that it accurately reflects where we are currently as a district in terms of operational policies. There were some antiquated references in the manual that we really hadn't been, there's some contradictory language. So we just want to make sure that our new employee handbook aligns with best management practices in everything that we're doing and all legal requirements, of course. So we are in the process of completely revamping that. So I have a question for the board. So this is something that I have been wanting to do for some time now, and Ms. O'Reilly has been able to work on this and has done a great job in very quickly pulling a draft together. So thank you, Lindsay, for all of your efforts on that. I'll be reviewing, continuing my review of the policy draft, or the handbook draft over the next week or so, and then sending it off to legal for review. So I'd like all that to happen before you all see it. And then my question is, do you want to hold a separate workshop to solely review and have any discussion required to approve the handbook, or are you okay with me presenting it to you all, let's say the beginning of next October, so that you have 2 weeks to review it prior to the October board meeting?
Yeah, that'd be good.
You prefer plenty of time to get into the detail?
Okay, so then that's what we'll do. Our regularly scheduled October meeting is on the 21st, so at that point, is 2 weeks sufficient for you all to
It
go
is for
through,
me.
review
For
an
the
entire,
21st?
an entire handbook?
So how many pages is it?
84.
84? Oh, okay. Okay.
Maybe more.
What's the font size? Is it-
Well,
So
I
for
can
old
make it a
people?
large font
We can
size if you want one.
expand it if you need it.
2 weeks is plenty for me.
Yep. Sounds good to me. I'll get it electronically so I can increase the font size.
Yes, we can do it up on the.
It's too much work. I'm a tactile guy.
Okay. Good with you, Randy?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Okay, great, thank you. I think that's all I have operationally, but as you probably noticed, we are missing a couple of key staff this afternoon, so I will go ahead and move into the outreach education report and our awareness report, unless you, okay, seeing all you shaking, all 3 of you shaking your heads yes. So for community outreach and education, as you know, our outreach and education department plays a key role in our integrated mosquito management program in educating and engaging the community on promoting our mosquito prevention efforts. And it's through education that we raise awareness and encourage active participation in those mosquito control measures that I was really referencing as it pertains to community participation in our fight against dengue and other mosquito-borne diseases. And so we have been busy prepping and scheduling for all the school programs. As you know, this semester, the school season just started, and so we're getting back into schools and community events. We have a lot of weekend and outside hour events already booked for the fall, which is great. Seems like it's even more so than last year. So continuing to build those connections in Pasco County with our residents through a variety of different networking events, including Premier Community Healthcare's annual community impact event that was in August, 7 sentinel chickens, in the state of Florida, or I'm sorry, for Pasco County for West Nile. For St. Louis encephalitis virus, state of Florida, there have been 3 sentinel chickens. We have had 0 in Pasco. Eastern equine encephalitis virus, for the state, there have been 8 horses, 2 emus, 1 flock of emus, 1 goat, and 45 sentinel chickens reported. Here in Pasco, we have had 7 sentinel chickens reported, with positive for Eastern equine encephalitis virus. For dengue, in Florida, all of Florida, there have been 189 travel-related cases, and there have been 24 locally acquired human cases throughout the state of Florida this year, and an additional 4 mosquito pools have tested positive for dengue. Here in Pasco County, we do have the case that you all learned of in March, and then of course the one that we just talked about that was we were identified to in early August, so it's technically a July case. Chikungunya, travel related for the state of Florida, there have been 11 cases. We have had none. For malaria, there have been 36 cases, travel related cases in the state of Florida, one of which was here locally, travel related case in Pasco County this past month. For mosquito-borne illness advisories, the following counties are under illness advisories to the Department of Health. That would be Alachua, Bay, Clay County, Duval, Hillsborough, Lafayette, Leon, Pasco, Pinellas. And mosquito-borne illness advisory, we have Brevard, Escambia, and Miami-Dade. Pasco County Mosquito Control District is currently responding to 4 Department of Health mosquito-borne illness cases. One, the confirmed local dengue that we've already talked about today, the one one additional suspect dengue case, and 1 confirmed travel malaria case that I just listed off from August. Questions on any of that?
Look what magically popped up.
There it is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's good. I do have a question on Pasco. We're under an advisory, is that what it is?
Yes, the locally acquired dengue case.
How long will that last before it drops off?
That will drop off at the end of 2024, I'm sorry, 2025, if we do not have continued transmission throughout
Calendar year or fiscal year?
calendar year.
Okay.
So once you're on it, you stay on it.
I see.
Till the end of the year.
If you can say there's an end of the year. Last year, we never, I don't know what, well, did we come off in March? I think we
March.
came off in March. But that was still, the last case of ours, that we had confirmed from Pasco was the West Nile sentinel chicken in January. And so we didn't come off at the end of December. It's based on a period of time after each one of the cases.
Is it a 12-month period or just a period?
So it's typically the year, but then last year was very unique.
Yeah.
And so that one was based on continued mosquito-borne disease transmission into January.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Well, thank you. Another good detailed report from you.
Oh, I may have skipped a slide. Did I skip the employee recognition? I did. Thank you. See, it would be helpful if I actually looked at the screen, right?
Oh,
And
you
then I would
didn't know
know
it
where
was there. You're looking for the map still, I know.
I was. So this past month, just to highlight some of the recognition and our staff for their work anniversary. Back in August, we had an individual call in for one of our mosquito technicians. The door hanger you left was very detailed and helpful, and she could see that our technician, Mr. Kyle Ruin, had great knowledge and care of his job and the residents. So we appreciate Ms. Mary for calling that recognition in, so that we can highlight him here. Additionally, August work anniversaries, we have John Brookfield celebrated 5 years with the district. Richard Lucas is one of our part-time seasonal drivers, celebrated 8 years with us. Bob Bendel, mosquito tech, who has been with us for 4 years, and Stelios Klempios, our large site supervisor, has been with the district for 10 years. And now I believe I am done with my director's report, thank you.
You're good with your pronunciations too. That's good.
Well, I had, what, 8 years of Latin?
You did?
Yes.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Wow.
Prepare me for a
8 years of
life in science.
Wow. That is something. Yeah. I could have got that first name, but I still would struggle with the last one. Okay. Good to the order. What do you guys got? Anything?
I'm good today.
No, I'm good. Thank you for keeping us safe. To all of you.
Right. So next up, we got a few meetings coming up. September the 15th, that's today at 5:01. In just a few minutes, we'll have our continued tentative budget hearing. And then September 29th, as mentioned earlier, will be the final budget hearing at 5:01 p.m. Monthly meeting next month will be on October the 21st. 9 a.m. And then November we'll have it on the 12th. There's a conference for aquatic plant management. And then it looks like Columbus Day this year. Okay. Is that one of the holidays? Oh, good. I'll take that day off then. Okay. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye. Motion adjourned.